The email she sent in reply to my apology read, "You just don't get it, do you? But then you never did." I could hardly complain, even if I found myself pathetically wishing she'd used my name in one of her 2 sentences. I wondered how Veronica had retained possession of my letter. Did Adrian leave her all his stuff in his will? I didn't even know he'd made one. Perhaps he'd kept it inside his diary and she'd found it there. No, I wasn't thinking clearly. If that's where it had been, Mrs. Ford would have seen it, and then she certainly wouldn't have left me £500. I wondered why Veronica had bothered to answer my email, given that she affected to despise me completely. Well, maybe she didn't. I wondered if Veronica had punished Brother Jack for passing on her email address. I wondered if all those years ago her words, "It doesn't feel right," were simply a politeness. Perhaps she hadn't wanted to sleep with me because the sexual contact we'd had during the time she was deciding just wasn't enjoyable enough. I wondered if I'd been awkward, pushy, selfish. Not if, how. Margaret sat and listened through the quiche and salad, then the panna cotta with fruit coulis, as I described my contact with Jack, the page of Adrian's diary, the meeting on the bridge, the contents of my letter, and my feelings of remorse. She put her coffee cup back on its saucer with a slight click. "You're not still in love with the fruitcake?" "No, I don't think I am. Tony, that wasn't a question. It was a statement." I looked across at her fondly. She knew me better than anyone else in the world, and still wanted to have lunch with me, and let me go on and on about myself. I smiled at her in a way she also doubtless knew too well. "One of these days I'll surprise you," I said. "You do still. You have today." "Yes, but I want to surprise you in a way that makes you think better of me rather than worse." "I don't think the worse of you. I don't even think the worse of the fruitcake, though admittedly my estimation of her has always been below sea level." Margaret doesn't do triumphalism. She also knew that she didn't have to point out that I'd ignored her advice. I think she quite likes being a sympathetic ear and also quite likes being reminded why she's glad not to be married to me anymore. I don't mean that in a bitchy sense. I just think it's the case. "Can I ask you something?" "You always do," she replied. "Did you leave me because of me?" "No," she said. "I left you because of us." Susie and I get on fine, as I have a tendency to repeat, and that will do as a statement I would happily swear to in a court of law. She's 33, maybe 34, yes, 34. We haven't had any sort of falling out since I sat in the front row of an oak-panelled municipal room and then did my job as a witness. I remember thinking at the time that I was signing off on her, or more exactly, signing myself off. Duty done, only child safely seen to the temporary harbour of marriage. Now all you have to do is not get Alzheimer's, and remember to leave her such money as you have. And you could try to do better than your parents by dying when the money will actually be of use to her. That'd be a start. If Margaret and I had stayed together, I dare say I would have been allowed to be more of a doting grandfather. It's not surprising Margaret's been more use. Susie didn't want to leave the kids with me because she didn't think I was capable, despite all the nappies I'd changed and so on. "You can take Lucas to watch football when he's older," she once told me. Ah, the rheumy-eyed grandpa on the terraces inducting the lad into the mysteries of soccer. How to loathe people wearing different-coloured shirts. How to feign injury. How to blow your snot onto the pitch. See, son, you press hard on one nostril to close it and explode the green stuff out